Welcome everyone to the MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2019 as the amber hues begin to set over the mountains here. Golden State Warriors taking on the Toronto Raptors in the second half of our doubleheader tonight after watching the Pelicans and the Wizards. This one, a rematch of the NBA Finals, which came to a conclusion just 3 weeks ago in 6 games.
Welcome to the 2019 NBA Finals.
Pascal Siakam with a 32-point game.
The Toronto Raptors take game 1.
Kevin Durant will play, and Kevin Durant will start. Kevin Durant back in the lineup and in the scorebook with a triple.
Bucket trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant slipping.
Kevin Durant will not return with a right lower leg injury.
The drama, the tension, the incredible play.
10 seconds to go. They go to Kawhi. Into the corner, Lowry for the championship. No! And the Warriors' three-peat dream is still alive.
Just try to come out and match that emotion.
Klay Thompson in the zone, running the floor on a foul.
Thompson grabs his left knee.
That knee injury will keep him out.
An NBA championship on the line. The Curry puts up a three. Won't go. We the North are now we the champions.
Well, we crowned a new NBA champ this year, the Toronto Raptors. We the North, becoming we the champions for the first time ever. The Toronto Raptors, first time ever in franchise history. And when you think about what happened, Doris Burke, as we welcome you to the MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2019, you were there, Doris.
Yeah.
So many indelible images, so many significant developments from game 1 through game 6. What do you come away with it thinking?
A few things, Mark. One, it was one of the most drama-filled series from start to finish that you just touched on. The visuals right there that we just showed you, 2 consummate professionals who it has been an absolute privilege to cover. So it's really difficult to watch Kevin Durant hurt his Achilles and to watch Klay Thompson, one of the toughest competitors. I mean, this is a man who in one series had blood coming out of his ear, was concussed and tried to play. Klay is just extraordinary. Those 2 men, what a run they had in Golden State. So that was powerful for me to just watch that. But then on the other side, to watch the fandom of Toronto, that incredible, it wasn't the city of Toronto. This was 37 million people in the country of Canada united and rallying around what was this incredible, extraordinary group. Kawhi Leonard goes on one of the great individual runs in NBA history. There are a million memories. The big shot making of Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, his emotion, the shades. How about the intrepid spirit of Masai Ujiri?
Right.
To make the unpopular decision to trade away DeMar DeRozan, to absorb that criticism, to get Kawhi. It ends up being a rental for 1 year, but it doesn't matter. You won the chip. That will go down as one of my favorite NBA Finals ever to cover, with the caveat of the absolute devastation of watching 2 great competitors in Kevin and Klay get hurt.
Yeah, the Golden State Warriors, seeing the transformation of their dynastic team, and a lot has happened in free agency since that time. Of course, Kawhi and Danny Green off to Southern California, Clippers and Lakers respectively, and Iguodala to Memphis, Durant to Brooklyn. Of course, he won't play next year. Looney re-signed to a 3-year deal. Klay getting his max deal, and D'Angelo Russell, they traded for him. He's now part of the Golden State Warriors, and there's a thought, what do you make of D'Angelo Russell in particular, coming off a great year, first-time All-Star in Brooklyn?
I'm glad you led with him, because when you think about the equal opportunity and the free-flowing offense and the constant movement of the Golden State Warriors, it's not antithetical to D'Angelo Russell, but I will say he was a primarily pick-and-roll player and was tremendous and dynamic and rejuvenated his career. So that's an interesting thing. Do we see the MVP version of Steph Curry? Because there will be a lot of weight on his shoulders. On the other side, the Toronto Raptors, listen, they're going to be competitive. I think they'll be a playoff team in the East. Obviously, Milwaukee and Philadelphia, the class, but there's still a lot of good pieces. Pascal Siakam, how about his game 1 in the NBA Finals?
Unbelievable.
It's just like they're, listen, they can put a competitive team on the floor. Just different trajectories for these two organizations now.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups. A lot of Raptor fans in attendance here as Lloyd, Corey Walden, Malcolm Miller was a member of the Raptors. Hernandez and Chris Boucher, also a member of Toronto's team. Poole, one of the guys to watch. He's their draft choice. And Smiljic was Smiljic, pardon me. He was the youngest player on the Santa Cruz Warriors squad this past year. A guy that has shown flashes for the Golden State Warriors. Alan Smiljic, number 6, right there, going to take the jump. Tell you what, you will see some Toronto Raptor fans everywhere, even here in Las Vegas.
No, the visual of them in the NBA Finals, the Raptors fans post-game, there were 300 of them post-game in the Finals in Oakland.
Yeah.
They travel big time.
There's Travis Ware, erstwhile from UCLA, former Los Angeles Laker. Here's Boucher, big part of their G League team a couple of years ago. Boucher, one of the guys they're looking to see some development from, native of Montreal, Quebec, played at Oregon. That jumper good by Miller. Malcolm Miller played 10 games for the Raptors during the regular season, averaged about 7 minutes per game. Smiljic got it blocked. Ware misfiring. Boucher in a rush. Smiljic with the board. Evans got it packed against the glass.
You can see the length and activity of Boucher.
Boy, incredible pace, Doris, to start this game.
Yes.
They're going up and down. Raptors head coach Nick Nurse here courtside, along with Adrian Griffith.
Cassidy will visit with Nick Nurse at some point during the course of this telecast. Nice little play there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's their 28th pick in the draft. Their first round pick out of Michigan. Spent 2 years there. Shot 37% from deep. Boucher with a pull-up 3, a contested one. Good defense by Ware. Tell you, one of the things that has gone a little bit under the radar with respect to Golden State, Smiljic with a 3 and 1.
Great focus on that. He got himself, he put it on the deck last possession, got himself in a little trouble. This time just to catch and shoot. As the defender closes, he stayed in his motion and gets the N1.
Smiljic from Belgrade, Serbia, the 39th pick in the draft. They drafted him out of the G League. Now, I was talking about the Warriors. How much do you think they'll miss Andre Iguodala?
Well,
traded to Memphis.
Yeah, as nice block from behind. Evans didn't feel that defender closing on him. Listen, Andre Iguodala is a Finals MVP, although I would still make the case, despite the incredible job he did guarding LeBron in that series, that Steph was actually the MVP of that.
I'm with you on that.
Okay, amen. But they're going to miss him. Steve Kerr said maybe the smartest basketball player he's ever been around. The versatility defensively.
And the adult in the room.
And the adult in the room, exactly.
All knocked out of bounds. It'll come back to the Warriors.
And where does Andre eventually wind up?
Well, now the Memphis Grizzlies are saying that, or reports coming out of Memphis, that they don't plan on buying him out, that they might pursue a trade if it works for them. But there was some speculation that preceding a buyout, Iguodala could end up with the Los Angeles Lakers. Poole off the screen, nice step back.
Good patience.
Nothing but net.
Good patience, good footwork. That's a young man who has made no bones about the fact that he's had to adjust to the NBA three-point line. He's putting in a ton of time on his shooting. Whoa.
Boucher. Emphatic slam underneath by him. Now you look at Boucher. Some people think, that's Pascal Siakam a couple of years ago in terms of player development.
Well, I'll tell you, this might look a little familiar to Pascal's friends. The long, lean frame as well, but the timing, the ability to make that catch and finish. I mean, you can see there's times where that thin frame is problematic for him in terms of the strength, getting pushed off his position. But he's got 2 chips, doesn't he?
Ball out of bounds. Boucher, great story of perseverance. Dropped out of high school at the age of 16 and worked as a cook and a dishwasher at a St. Hubert restaurant. And it was spotted by college coaches while playing AAU basketball. Ended up playing collegiately at Oregon. Lloyd draws the foul, and he'll go to the free throw line. Jordan Lloyd out of Furman. Undrafted in 2016, second-year pro. Played 12 games with the Raptors last year as a two-way player.
Do you like the two-way players being able to spend a certain amount of days per year?
I still like that. I
do
love the way
too.
that's been a boon, I think, to
I agree.
franchises and GMs. And Lloyd, by the way, take a good look at the face, folks. Focus in on his face. Think about that iconic picture, Doris, of Kawhi squatted and waiting for that shot to fall against Philadelphia. He's the other guy beside him. He actually wore a T-shirt at the Raptors championship parade that said, "I'm that guy in the picture."
That's great.
Warriors leading by 1, just underway here in the first quarter. Pascal Siakam in the building tonight. Just took a seat beside us courtside. Evans. Nowhere to go. Well, we talked about that now iconic shot in Raptors basketball history. There it is. The squat, and pick out our guy, Jordan Lloyd. Take a look. There he is. Who should be a WNBA All-Star? You decide. WNBA All-Star voting 2019 presented by Google is officially underway. Vote on WNBA.com or the WNBA app, or on Google by searching for your favorite player or team. Vote daily and vote now. Vote often, like we do in Florida. Boucher from outside. Off the miss. The Raptors get another opportunity. Crashing the offensive glass. Couldn't come up with it, though. There's Richard Solomon battling underneath. Ware kicks it out. Relocates to get it back. Richards, a long three. And here come the Raptors. Quickly up court. That jumper a little bit short.
I think back to a year ago, Nick Nurse wanted to coach the Summer League team. Boy, what a journey for Nick Nurse to head coaching position in the NBA. Truly nothing short of remarkable. I don't know that there's any straight line path to one of only 30 jobs in the entire world to be an NBA head coach, but Nick's journey is incredible. Cassidy, again, will visit with him to start the second quarter. What a job he did, Mark Jones.
Coached overseas in Great Britain. Actually, Masai Ujiri was one of his players over there at one point. And ended up coaching Rio Grande in the G League, part of the Houston Rockets system. And their G League affiliate. Raptors with a 3-on-1. Lloyd kicks it out once again to Malcolm Miller. Short again. Ware with the board. I'll tell you this about Nick Nurse. He is a very eclectic type of guy. Whistle and one. Evans with an opportunity for a three-point play. Nick Nurse, okay, he's got all these great things on the resume, right? British national team assistant coach. By the way, he's going to be coaching the Canadian national team.
Correct.
In the upcoming World Cup of Basketball. Nick Nurse was on stage with a Canadian band recently.
Yes.
They asked him to play the guitar, and he was up there playing the guitar.
No.
He was playing his guitar.
Right. This guy.
Not a guitar, a guitar. Okay. Nick was doing his thing.
He is such a fascinating guy.
Yeah.
His first coaching job, or one of his first coaching jobs as player coach, as you said, he spends over a decade in Britain coaching. Gets his first G League job because he's driving through Iowa, passes a building and thinks, boy, that might be a great location for a G League team. Convinces the owner to put one, the owner of the building to put one there.
Yeah.
When you talk about hunger and passion to do a job, he's got it.
Great self-determination by Nick Nurse. Rebounded by Boucher. A little grab and go action for him. Out to Miller. Warriors back in transition on defense. Leading by 2 underway here in the first quarter. Our second of 2 tonight. Wizards defeating the Pelicans in the first. Lloyd on a strong Bogart move to the bucket.
Nice move. Boucher made a dive cut to the rim, but vacated out the other side, and that allows for the drive to happen.
And been a real tough year back to Nick Nurse, losing his mother earlier in the year back in December. And after he addressed the team, Kyle Lowry said, okay, we're going to win a championship for Nick's mom.
Coverage of MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2019 is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Enjoy Coca-Cola and make this summer the most memorable ever.
The bright lights of Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. And some great basketball going on for the next 9 days, including today, here at the MGM Resorts NBA Summer League. Thomas and Mack, next door Cox Pavilion, games going on. I'll tell you, that's part of the great part of being here at Summer League is if you don't want to stick with the game you're watching, you can walk across the concourse, up the stairs, and over to Cox Pavilion and watch that one, and then come back and check this one out if things haven't changed.
I thought you were going to say that every restaurant in the city was open, even late.
And speaking of next door, Sacramento leading their game 63-45 against the Chinese national team.
We'll have them in a couple of nights.
Yes.
China versus Charlotte. I can't wait to hear your enunciation.
I think Wang Zhuzhu. I got that one down.
I like that.
And I'm working on the rest.
That rolls right off your tongue.
That's what happens when you practice for a few hours. And Mark Amaral, a head basketball coach, former associate head coach at Pepperdine University, one of the Chinese coaches from the Chinese Professional League, on hand here watching games. Keeping an eye on some of the players on the Chinese team. Got a couple of players there participating across the way. Foul's going to go against Lawson with 2:10 to go in the first quarter.
I thought he might have got that clean. And the official just looked at Dietrich Lawson and said that was the body. Go ahead with your promo, but.
Well, Summer League action continuing, Doris, tomorrow here in Las Vegas on NBA TV, as well as the ESPN app. Brooklyn taking on the Croatian national team, Denver, Orlando, Utah, Miami, and Houston taking on Portland at 10 p.m. Eastern time on NBA TV. You know, we talk about the Chinese national team being here this year, one of 2 national teams along with the Croatian team. The thirst for NBA basketball continues to grow in that country. I saw Donovan Mitchell yesterday after he left the set here with us. He was headed right to a car and then right to the airport onto a plane, headed to do his China tour. He was going to be there for over a week, I believe he said. Part of his
promo, those
Adidas
new
tour.
shoes.
Yeah, I like the Spider.
I like the Spider as well.
On the size 12, if you're listening out there. Solomon underneath.
Shameless.
Thank you. Toronto leading by 3 as we approach a minute to go in the first quarter. Dwayne Wade was just over in China completing his tour for Li Ning. James Harden was over in China. Kobe Bryant does a China tour every year. It's incredible to watch the reception that NBA players get over in that wonderful country that has a great passion for basketball.
Our announce crew during the NBA Finals visits quite often pre and post game with 10 Cent. And we think we have a lot of viewers in the United States for the NBA Finals. It pales in comparison.
Yeah. On the break, here's Hernandez. A whistle and a foul going to go against the Warriors. Yeah, the World Championships of Basketball happening this year in China as Greg Popovich will coach our men's senior national team over there, and they're going to have their training camp here in Las Vegas before they leave for overseas. They'll play a preseason or an exhibition game, pardon me, against Spain and a couple of others before taking on the real competition. And I'll tell you what, I got to give a shout out to our co-worker Jeff Van Gundy for the job that he did, the fantastic job he did just to qualify our team using over 50 different players during qualification.
Different version every time he had to go into competition. He had to coach new guys. He now will be the head scout, I believe, is his position for that. And you know what they call him on 10 Cent? Mr. Head Coach.
Oh.
That's how I refer to him now, Mr. Head Coach.
All right. Toronto on a 10-2 run. Great effort and defense there. Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll be Raptor basketball.
Get your hustle on. Again, 2 consecutive games. Toscano doing a great job knocking the ball loose, not once, but twice. He looked like he hurt his hip a little bit, still trying to get himself right.
Thomas off the inbound. Boy, good pass, a little bit hot. Evans back the other way. They got a 2-on-1 and a foul. Going to go on Thompson, and he's going to go to the free throw line with 19.5 to go here in the first quarter of play. You know, one of the interesting prospects, Lindell Wigington, number 5 for the Toronto Raptors. Going to keep an eye on him out of Iowa State. Native of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, played a couple of years at Iowa State. Decided to come out early, went undrafted in signing a free agent deal with the Raptors. And he is a very explosive athlete, was perhaps the best 6th man in the Big 12 last year, was a starter the previous season, but came in injured. 3
Canadians on this team, Mark. And you wonder what influence the NBA championship will have. Are the Canadians second in the number of players from that country?
I believe they are. They've surpassed France now.
Correct.
Here's Wigginton, one of those Canadians, with the layup and one. Lindell with the bucket.
Timely. You just talked about the level of athleticism and explosion. So he gets the corner turn, does a great job using his body to protect, and just slide. Enjoy the view from down there. Watch the finish.
He averaged 17 points a game after his freshman season at Iowa State 2 years ago. Didn't hire an agent, returned to school. And he is a very explosive athlete. Whistle with 1.1 to go. And the Warriors, Toscano Anderson going to go to the free throw line.
A lot of fouls in this first quarter.
Played at Marquette for 4 years. went undrafted in 2015. Played professionally in Mexico recently.
4 years, in fact, 43 games for Santa Cruz.
Hey, back to Wigington from Canada. You ever been out to Nova Scotia?
I have not.
Canada's ocean playground,
right.
Doris. Close to the Grand Banks. Beach, fishing. Stick around for a little geography, and we'll speak with the national team head coach, Nick Nurse, on the other side of this.
Kawhi Leonard signing with the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oklahoma City is trading Paul George to the Clippers to join Kawhi.
He wanted to be able to walk into a team that he thought would be a championship contender. Now within Staples Center, it is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard against LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Kawhi Leonard brought an NBA championship to Toronto for the first time in franchise history. And Cassidy Hubbard standing by with head coach Nick Nurse.
Coach, it's been an eventful last month, to say the least. Our Mark Jones first wants to know if you brought your guitar to Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. Got it with me. Always take it on the road. Give me something to do in the room. Yeah.
Well, you got to bring it out to Summer League because we saw, the pictures with Arkells made the waves on the internet.
That was really something. That was I've never been so nervous in my life and walking out there on stage with them, but it was really a blast.
Yeah. Those pictures certainly went viral. Of course, the biggest story, aside from the earthquake last night, was Kawhi Leonard joining the Clippers. And something we learned about Kawhi Leonard is that he knows how to keep things very close to the vest. So when did you find out that he was leaving the Raptors?
I found out just right before it came out, right? I was informed, and then literally minutes later it came out on ESPN on my phone on the app. So just hanging out with the assistants last night when we got the news.
So you found out from Woj like the rest of us?
No, that's not true. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as far as Kawhi, did you have a conversation with him since he made his announcement?
I've talked to him a lot. Not since the announcement. I talked to him a lot leading up to it, but not about what he was going to do. I have exchanged texts with him today about his decision. Yeah, early this morning.
And how would you describe how that decision is going to affect your team?
I mean, obviously he's one of the greatest players in the world, right? And talent in this league is hard to come by at that level. So, I mean, obviously we'll put our heads down and get to work and attack the season like we would. We're gonna get up every day with the goal of trying to win the championship. Get up every day and go to work and, expect to win.
And when you got that championship and you put in the work, starting right here in Las Vegas, making your head coaching debut for the Raptors in Summer League. So how would you sum up what it's been like for full circle from last year to standing here right now today?
Well, I came out here as a young coach and hung around and then finally got to coach a team. And it's just great experience. Anytime you can lead a team and call the shots and call the timeouts and make the subs and draw up the plays and all that stuff, it really wasn't much different than in the Game 6 of the NBA Finals as it was here. It's basketball and it translates, and getting that experience was invaluable to me.
Well, a guy who has certainly shown a lot of growth is Pascal Siakam, is in the crowd tonight, a most improved player, and he's going to have to take on even more of a load with Kawhi gone. What is his ceiling?
Well, I think he keeps showing that he's going up towards the ceiling, right? I don't know what it is, to be honest. He just continues to improve all parts of his game. He handles the ups and downs. He handles consistency, right? I think that's one of the biggest things about becoming a great NBA player is can you do it on a nightly basis? He did that. And I think his role expands, as do other guys. Everybody has their roles. They slot in with what you have. We coach the team that's on the floor, and maybe we can expand some of those roles next year.
Well, you've expanded your role as well.
Yeah.
Now being the head coach of the Canadian national team, you're just wanting to add more of a busy schedule to your load?
Well, it's a great group of guys. Obviously, basketball in Canada is at an ultimate peak right now with the talent level, first of all, and then with the interest. And it's a great learning thing for me. I coached Great Britain national team along with Chris Finch of the New Orleans Pelicans in the 2012 Olympics, and it was just a tremendous growth period for me, so I thought it'd be a good chance to continue to grow.
Well, congrats again on bringing a championship to Toronto, and thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you very much.
Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Cass. Poole fouled going to the basket. I'm really excited for Nick Nurse and his opportunity with the Canadian national team. You know, despite the number of talented players that Canada has in the NBA, they have not had success at the national team level. They haven't qualified for the Olympics, I think, since 2000 back in Australia. So it's been a struggle. Part of that is because of poor management.
I was going to ask you.
Resources have been an issue at time, and I speak from personal experience.
Yes, Mark, for our viewers who don't know, was a high-level player in Canada along with your brother. And I know you speak passionately about this, Mark. I was about to ask you and interrupt you. I was going to put you on the spot about why. But it'll be interesting to see Nick Nurse have an opportunity to work with that team.
Great to see basketball lead the highlights up in Toronto on the local sports stations. Coming back the other way, it's Bowman. Lawson with a lob inside, nobody home. Zundu wasn't ready for it, trying to seal his man.
I think he was pleading with the official that Hernandez was holding him, but what a likable guy Nick Nurse is. I don't know how you couldn't appreciate the journey and his attitude. And I have to say, and he said it to Cassidy in the interview, and just so you know, we sort of asked a similar question to what Cassidy asked about. Wow, nice
Boucher on the attack.
Wow.
With a strong foray to the rim.
He's had a couple of them made me go, wow.
Yeah.
This guy is his agility, the length. I can see some of the comparisons to Pascal. My goodness. Yeah. That's 2 long strides, great vertical. But just meeting with Nick Nurse pregame in the NBA Finals, asking him, he just looked so confident and comfortable and had great perspective, and he just kept repeating to us, it's basketball. And it was fascinating to watch him work.
Got a great opportunity from Dwayne Casey to come aboard as an assistant coach. As the Raptors, this was really a 2-year deal where they revamped their offense and started to play differently, and then of course acquiring Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. 5 on the shot clock. Smailagic with the turnaround, ended up on his wallet. And off the miss, the Raptors leading by 2. Walden. Boucher, a little pick and pop. Boy, that jumper had a little bit of side spin on it, Torres.
Listen, he's taken a couple of those. There's funky rotation on that basketball. That is not yet pure. You can tell he's working on it. He's certainly not shy.
In transition, the steal. Bowman kicks it out. Jumper on the way, and that's cash from Brandon Sampson. Out of LSU, played there for 3 years, signed a 2-way deal with the Bulls last December and appeared in 14 games. Averaged about 17 a game in the G League last year. And shot 38% from deep. Timeout on the floor. Warriors up by 1. A look at the scene for the Toronto Raptors victory parade. An estimated 1 million people. They started late because, frankly, the city wasn't ready for that many people to show up. And they ended it with a few speeches and a celebration at Nathan Phillips Square at City Hall. There's Kyle Lowry, Phil Handy beside him. A lot of cigars being smoked and a lot of champagne being consumed on that day. A memorable day in Toronto.
And there you see some of the remaining players. Fred VanVleet, we talked about his big shot making, and Pascal Siakam. And you know what was fascinating to me about that Toronto Raptors team? The highest draft pick on that NBA championship team was Kawhi Leonard. Was he 15th?
Yeah, 15 by the Pacers.
You had a bunch of guys, including these 2 men right here, who had to fight and claw their way just to get into the NBA. Marc Gasol, very similar. Go down that roster.
Yeah.
Don't have to be a top draft pick to be a champion, Mark Jones.
Although I will say, the disclaimer on that, Doris, is they had Kawhi Leonard.
Correct.
Kind of brought it all together. Sampson missing this time from downtown. And you saw Van Vliet and Siakam there. Those two guys were central pieces in the Raptors G League, Raptors 905 championship team a couple of years ago. And, you know, that's one of the things that has gone kind of under-publicized about the Raptors has been their great player development. When you look at their assistant coaches, Adrian Griffin talked about him, and Jamal McClure on the sidelines there, part of the coaching staff here for Summer League, also a native of Toronto. Played his high school basketball at Eastern Commerce High School. Perennial runner-up to Oakwood Collegiate, my school, Doris, just to let you know.
Oh, I like it.
Runner-up to Oakwood Collegiate, where I played.
They're still talking about you, Mark. That was another fascinating thing, talking about Nick Nurse, because remember under Dwayne Casey, they had offensive defensive coordinator. He said it was great experience, but with his staff, he elected to sort of just keep moving those roles. I think he said every 6 games, you got a different role. Yeah. So a guy like, you know, Adrian Griffin, who's been known as a defensive guy, well, now he's not. He doesn't have to be known as just a defensive guy.
Yeah, that's a great point. Evans missing the mid-range jump shot. Under 4 minutes to go. Here in the first half, Raptors leading by 2. Hernandez inside. Smailagic with the rebound out to Evans. Poole pops open. Meanwhile, here's a look at who's left in wake of Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green departing for the Clippers and Lakers, respectively. Lowry, Siakam, Ibaka, Gasol, Van Vliet, Norman Powell. I mentioned the fact that, of course, Green's going to be gone, but last year they went 17-5, I believe, without Kawhi Leonard. So they've got some very good, you know, Kyle Lowry is an all-star. You know, Marc Gasol was an all-star.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
Kyle Lowry, a 5-time all-star. Pascal Siakam has multiple all-stars to me in his future. It was interesting to hear Cassidy ask Nick Nurse what's his ceiling, and Nick being honest and saying, I'm not sure. I don't know what his ceiling is. What we know about Pascal Siakam, and we've shown you Phil Handy in the stands tonight, the guy's going to put in the work, Pascal Siakam. His work ethic is unquestioned. He's hungry to be better.
Yeah, you mentioned Phil Handy. We saw him on one of the floats, and he's another one of the guys that was a big piece of that coaching staff in the player development, being able to get the guys ready.
Right.
Guy that has worked around the league a bit as part of the Cleveland Cavaliers and their 2016 championship team.
Phil Handy, highly respected. You can watch him work out any pregame or any practice situation. They are doing work, getting it in.
Bay Area guy. Reportedly the original Uncle Drew.
Oh, I like that.
Unconfirmed reports. Vegas aglow at night when we come back. Sunday on ESPN, ESPN2, NBA Summer League rolls on 5 more runs starting at 3:30. 12:30 Pacific with Spurs Hornets. Wrap it up nighttime at the Thomas & Mack in Vegas with the Grizzlies and the Clippers. John Morant not playing. Had his knee cleaned out a little bit. I was really looking forward to watching him in Summer League and telling his story a little bit. Saw Jaren Jackson around here a little bit earlier. Soon to be second-year pro for the Memphis Grizzlies, and interesting how they've turned things over quite a bit of late. Able to move Chandler Parsons, acquiring Andre Iguodala in a trade from the Golden State Warriors.
Mr. Jackson's responsibilities are going to go through the roof. He'll have plenty of opportunity to carry the weight.
A little update from Las Vegas, from the world of UFC. John Jones winning by decision tonight. I'm surprised that it wasn't a knockout. Lloyd kicks it back out. Malcolm Miller on the drive. A whistle and a foul and a strong move by Miller. On a Holy Cross, 4-year player. Played 10 games for the Raptors during the regular season. In the G League this year, averaged about 11 per game. Dealt with a torn labrum in his right shoulder, which limited his G League action, and it's going to hurt your shooting a little bit too. Well, Sports Center coming up next with Karim and Eves. Woj on Russell Westbrook's future in OKC. Doris on the state of NBA free agency. Best moments and reactions from UFC 239. Sports Center after Summer League on ESPN, as well as the ESPN app. How would you like to go to a Las Vegas Aces game at some point out here? Are you going to be out here long enough? Can I take you? Can we go? Come on, let's be fair.
I wish
we used to do WNBA games together.
Oh, constantly.
Come on
we
now.
won some championships together.
Yes.
Had an absolute ball. Some of the best memories for me.
Yeah, the All-Star game here on the 27th.
The answer is no. I'm working double headers every single night. You're getting the night off because you're staying a little bit longer than I am. Yeah.
Okay. Poole with a little room service here. Jordan Poole, the first-round pick of the Golden State Warriors. Native of Milwaukee. His college coach, John Beilein at Michigan, said that Poole has, quote, an overdose of swag. Gotta love a dude with a lot of confidence. And Boucher with a lot of confidence, able to shoot that corner pocket three.
Is that possible? An overdose of swag?
No. No. I don't think so. And if you do, then coaches will let you know, right?
Well,
ultimately.
I'm just getting fiendish delight out of hearing John Beilein use the word swag. New head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah. I texted Kobe Allman after that announcement and just said, not only are you getting an outstanding coach, but one of the outstanding human beings.
Yes.
I am so excited for John Beilein. I know they got a lot of work to do in Cleveland, but congratulations to a class coach and a class man.
And they are getting a diverse group of talents and strengths in Lindsey Gottlieb, an assistant coach, formerly the head coach of Cal Berkeley's women's basketball team.
You just see a diversity across the league, and I've said this before, Adam Silver has been a great advocate for the distaff side, and it's just great to see the progress, both in a front office situation and assistant coaching.
30 seconds to go here in the first half. NBA champs, the Toronto Raptors, leading Golden State.
Dangerous pass back to the middle.
15 seconds to go. Going to call out a half-court set here. For the two-man game up top, and that's going to be a foul on Smailagic. Acquired on draft day from the Pelicans for cash and second-round picks. Youngest player in the G League last year. Youngest G League player ever. As Walden makes the first of two for the Raptors. Walden makes both. An 88% free throw shooter on the season. Here's Poole up to Ware. Got time, 3 seconds. Got it off in time and got the bucket. The Raptors complaining should have been a walk. First 20 minutes of play complete. And the Toronto Raptors leading it by 7 points. Boucher with a strong 9 to lead the Raptors. Welcome back, everyone, to MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2019. This is the 15th year of this wonderful Summer League. All 30 teams, plus 2 national teams, under one roof. Actually, 2 roofs. Here next door, Cox Pavilion, Mark Jones, Courtside chopping it up with Doris Burke and Cassidy Hubbard. And we've got a rematch of the NBA Finals between the Summer League version of the Golden State Warriors and the Toronto Raptors. An interesting first half. Had some great interviews with Nick Nurse amongst others, and we'll have more coming up here in the second half. Hope to speak with associate head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Mike Brown. But your thoughts on the play on the court in the first half, and in particular Chris Boucher, a guy that they're looking at to see some improvement and development from here in Las Vegas this summer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the first thing that strikes me about this young man is that lean frame, and obviously the comparisons to Pascal Siakam because of the athleticism, the strides, and the upside, right? You talked about the Raptors have had a great player development system, and I thought a pretty solid half. That one dunk he had that was impressive, a couple of eye-popping plays. How old is he, Mark?
Boucher is now a 26-year-old in his third year. Got a late start.
Yeah.
Talked about his story, quitting high school at 16 and worked as a cook and a dishwasher at a restaurant. And then discovered late. Got onto the AAU circuit, Lloyd with the air ball.
It should have been a shot clock violation.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Dennis Johnson, right?
Okay.
Wasn't Dennis Johnson working in a factory before the Celtics got him? And they go on that great run? I feel like that's...
Might have been him.
I remember hearing that story in the great
stories,
Celtics-Lakers rivalries.
Good effort defensively by Corey Walden, native of Daytona Beach, Florida. Played 3 years at Eastern Kentucky after a year at Stetson, undrafted in 2015. Played in Israel last year. It's another great part of summer that you find out, and you see guys that were prominent collegiate players and kind of wonder where they've been.
Right.
Been playing in these great leagues over in Europe and South America and China, Japan, Philippines.
Yeah.
Whistle and a foul going to go against Ware.
And I'm quite intrigued by these men, Mark, who, as you say, might be 3, 4, 5 years removed, but still keeping those NBA dreams alive. So they go overseas or they're in the G League. Like, you think about a guy like P.J. Tucker on Houston, right? He has a career in Europe. He is content. He had given the NBA a shot, and he's prepared and happy to keep his European career. And then at the last minute, his agent comes with what he believes is a great opportunity. And then P.J. carves his niche in the league.
Yeah, got back in with Phoenix.
Yes.
And parlayed that into where he is right now with the Houston Rockets. Really a mainstay there. Ball knocked out of bounds. Toronto basketball.
I just admire the passion and the grit.
I'll tell you what, nothing motivates some of these guys more than accumulating all those stamps on the passports.
Yeah.
P.J. Tucker played overseas in Greece and in Ukraine, Italy. This is Poole, their first-round pick out of Michigan. Poole had 7 points on 3 of 5 shooting. Nice catch, tough catch inside. Cross court to Ware from downtown, and well, that's what Ware does so well. Travis Ware, out of North Carolina and UCLA. Third-year pro. Spent last year with the South Bay Lakers in the G League.
39 games with him. It's like it's becoming the norm for the big men to be able to stretch it, right?
Yeah. Hernandez with a nice move with the offhand. Poole. Boy, missed everything and fell hard to the court. Boucher with a nice bounce pass. And
boy, there's a lot of
defense.
contact. Successive possessions where both guys, I think, thought they'd be at the free throw line. And Ware's now knocked down a couple.
Yeah.
Just sprinting the floor, getting to his spots.
Broke into the NBA back in 2014-15 with the Knicks, played 51 games. His twin brother David now playing in Australia.
6'10", 230 pounds. Stays spaced on one side of the floor, shows the sweet shooting stroke, does the same thing, opposite side of the floor. Nicely done.
Good looking stroke. Scored the last 6. Boucher.
Another shot. That rotation, it changes on each shot.
Yeah, it's a corkscrew. And that's going to be an offensive foul against Smailagic. Walden up court.
Good hands by Poole.
7 on the shot clock. Lloyd straight away. Ware passed up the 3 that time after knocking down the last 2. Boy, great find out to the 3-point line, and the bucket good. Boy, great pass. Malachi Richardson knocked down the 3 ball.
Jacob Evans got himself in the paint. I don't know how he saw him. I didn't think he had eyes on him, that's for sure.
Nice ball fake. And the bucket good by Jordan Lloyd. 2 years ago, played in Israel. First player from the University of Indianapolis to sign with an NBA team ever. Poole took it right at Boucher and couldn't cash.
I like the non-call. Principle of verticality.
Yep. That 3 off the mark by Miller. Boy, up and down they go. A frenetic and frantic pace here. Ware another catch and shoot. That's 3 off the mark. 2-point lead for the Toronto Raptors. Talking to Siakam a moment ago. Boucher had it knocked out of bounds off of his leg. P. Skills watching courtside along with Nick Nurse. When we come back, a flashback in the time machine to 2009.
The 15th year of the Las Vegas Summer League. 2-time MVP. Yeah, Steph Curry was one time the skinny kid out of the small college in North Carolina, but Lord, he showed some things. The unorthodox finishes, the ability to go left and right, the shooting. He talks an awful lot, Mark, about the influences Davidson coach had on him. The confidence, even when people were questioning the kinds of shots, the number of shots, and Steph talks so often. And the only unanimous MVP in NBA history. This were his numbers from this year. I don't think there's any doubt he's the greatest shooter of all time in the NBA. Correct?
I don't think it's close. And, you know, looking forward and projecting ahead, Doris, Klay Thompson is going to miss several months of the regular season next year. He just recently had his knee repaired and underwent that ACL surgery. Saw him bouncing a basketball, meanwhile, in a wheelchair on the set of Space Jam. But what do you make of the way that Golden State is going to have to use Steph? And how does he, what's it look like for him moving forward without Klay? Because he obviously becomes the guy that has to do more heavy lifting offensively, right?
Right. Oh, there's no question about it. And for me, the fascinating dynamic is the D'Angelo Russell piece, because again, so much of what they do is read and react and movement and those kinds of things. As I said, D'Angelo more of an effective pick and roll point guard. So I'm curious about that. And just back to Klay, because one of my all-time favorite athletes to cover. Last year, not this past year, but the year before, his teammates would tell you in the NBA Finals, Klay should not have been playing on the ankle he injured in Game 1. Should not have been playing on it. J.R. Smith rolls over it in Game 1. I'll never forget the visual of the blood coming out of Klay's ear in the Western Conference Finals, and he makes it back to the court. sort of watch him go up and suffer that ACL. It was so hard.
Yeah.
Really hard to
What
watch.
about him going up the tunnel, Doris, and then realizing that
Got to go make free throws.
yeah, he comes back.
Yeah.
You know, and after he made the free throws, is back playing defense on a torn ACL.
And telling Steve,
Yeah.
I just need a minute.
Just let me work this out a little bit.
I've got a torn ACL, but I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. Evans with a nice turnaround. Yeah, you talk about a player that isn't low maintenance. Steve Kerr likes to say he's no maintenance.
Yeah.
Boucher on the break, fouled, and will go to the free throw line.
He's done some good things, hasn't he? Yeah. He's got an ability to close to the rim quickly when he decides to attack it.
Played for Dana Altman at University of Oregon. So it's funny now, looking at his free throw, Doris, the rotation actually looked better and different than it did when he was launching his three-pointers.
What I wonder is when you see a guy who, number one, picks up the game late, and number two, you know, the frame, much better rotation. At least the trajectory is the normal spin on it.
Toscano kicks it back out. Poole. This is why they drafted him that time, missing the three-pointer. Poole played with Brazdakis, the guy we saw yesterday.
Yes.
Signed with the New York Knicks, the second-round pick. Smailagic on the break out to Poole, a whistle, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Alan Smailagic.
You like the fact that the big was willing to, though, in transition, put it on the deck, feel the bodies around him, and try to make a decision. He just didn't jump stop. He just kept his momentum going.
Coaches like his toughness. Lloyd off the screen. And that's going to be a travel. Richard Solomon a little overzealous that time. Actually had a 10-day contract with OKC last February. And spent the season with the OKC Blues of the G League. Boy, that's a good-looking shot by Evans.
He's been willing to play make and make passes for others, Jacob Evans.
He actually started the game for the Warriors last year. Played in 30. And Poole with an education in anticipation. And a 10-0 Golden State run has given them an 8-point lead. Lloyd a little loose with the handle. Thomas into the corner, good find. Boucher not shy on the corner three. Tipped up by Solomon.
Great work.
Missed a second one. Boucher had his back.
Yeah, Solomon, just great activity. It allowed Boucher to clean it up.
Evans off the screen from Smailagic. Toscano facing up on Boucher. Little jab step and kicks it out. Boy, Evans might have been a little too wide open that time, Doris. And a timeout on the floor.
Jordan Poole, number 28 in this year's draft selection. Great anticipation, easy finish.
Welcome back, everyone, to Las Vegas. Jordan Poole of the Golden State Warriors, their first-round draft choice in this June's draft, 28th overall out of Milwaukee. But a couple years at Michigan, getting a breather right now.
Had a game-winning shot to get Michigan to the Sweet 16, 2018.
Went a little bit too high for Boucher. A little bit too high for about everybody. Great ball movement. Lawson out top. Drills the three, and Golden State on a nice run here, an extended one. Leading now by 9 on a 13-2 sprint. Lindell Wigginton in the ball game.
Great ball pressure here.
Got it a little bit too deep. Corner three, good. And it's a 16-2 run. All 32 teams, remember, get to play at least 4 games. 8 teams will make the playoffs. Ball knocked out of bounds, and that'll be Golden State ball. Ty Bowman up court for the Golden State Warriors. Bowman played collegiately at Boston College. Good switching defense by the Raptors. Great intensity by Lloyd defensively. Jordan Lloyd.
I'll tell you what, you've seen 2 point guards on both ends of the floor apply pressure at the point of attack. Patrick Beverly's watching. He's saying, I can enjoy that kind of pressure.
Mr. 94 feet. And you speak of point guards and speak of the Raptors. Boy, did Kyle Lowry have a great finals or what?
Oh, tremendous.
After all the frustration that he's gone through in the early part of his career with the Raptors. And here's an interesting nugget about the Raptors as you look at their Summer League version here, and Kyle Lowry in particular. They were about to trade him several years ago to the New York Knicks. And if it weren't for Iman Shumpert, who was a member of the Knicks at that time, going on a little bit of a hot streak of about 6 games.
Exactly right.
If he didn't get hot and the trade subsequently getting called off, then Lowry doesn't remain a member of the Toronto Raptors.
Well, and think about, it takes a meeting of at least 3 hours between Kyle Lowry, his agent, and Masai Ujiri to sort of iron out the DeMar DeRozan trade.
Right.
And you have to come to peace with it. Masai told me it was quite loud, that he and Kawhi did the vast majority of talking for the first 2 hours. But all is well that ends well.
The lead is up to 15 now for the Warriors. That's going to be a foul as they almost ripped Wigington. 19-2 run for Golden State.
All triggered by their defense, Mark. They were active, great ball pressure, good anticipation in the passing lanes.
Wigington at the free throw line. He actually left home after his freshman year. He's a native of, as I mentioned, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Not to be confused with Halifax, Nova Scotia, the popular city out there. And enrolled at Oak Hill Academy in Virginia to further his basketball career like so many Canadians do. They leave home and play in a lot of the prep schools in the United States. Evans got in his bag a little bit, and at the end of the third quarter, the Golden State Warriors on a 19-3 run to lead by 14. LA, a lot going on out there right now in terms of the NBA. The Clippers acquiring Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James, meanwhile, with the Los Angeles Lakers. Meanwhile, back to Paul George, posted a very heartfelt message on social media on his Instagram account. Thank you, OKC. 2 great years. Took me as one of your own from day one. Thank you to the fans. Thank you to Sam and Clay for being the best management a franchise and a player could ask for.
Goes on to thank them for helping them anytime they were in need. Says to Russell Westbrook at the end of it, you know what it is. Love you, Brody. And, you know, we had Woj on earlier tonight. You wonder what the future holds for Russell Westbrook.
Here's what I find interesting about Paul George's situation. It was just a couple of years ago, he turned down an opportunity at free agency
right.
to go directly home to Los Angeles and play for the Lakers, electing to join Russell Westbrook in OKC. You remember the scene there. Nas, the rapper, did a concert in OKC, and they were smoking celebratory cigars and had a big party in Oklahoma City. And here we are, barely a year later, and he goes in and demands a trade to the Clippers. Things change quickly.
Quickly. Again,
real briefly.
The word used to describe Sam Presti was he was crestfallen.
Yeah.
You know, he had made the big move, trusted that the organization would spend a year with Paul and sell him. Wow.
That's what Wigginton likes to do. Talked about the dynamic athlete that he is. He'll go up and yam it on you.
Just a backdoor cut. Lawson comes over to close. Wow. It's
clean.
Well, he got the ball. It was the contact down below the shoulders that threw him off balance, so a foul.
Wigginton at the free throw line.
Oh boy, you're right.
Yeah.
That young man's got some eye-popping athleticism.
He shot 72% from the foul line at Iowa State. Meanwhile, hoping to see another native Canadian get on the court at some point here tonight or later in Summer League. Dwayne Notice on the Raptors bench. Played for their G League affiliate as well. A former player for Frank Martin at the University of South Carolina.
Golly, we have seen a lot of guys hit the ball. Man, and hard. Look at this, another body in the middle with two more.
Guys are going hard tonight, trying to win spots. And an offensive foul going to go against the Raptors. An illegal screen set by Richard Solomon.
I really have been impressed by how hard these games have been played. Yeah. You know what, Mark? And Cassidy told this story last night when the second game was played, or was not played, and Cassidy was talking to the players from Phoenix and Denver, and they were all dying because they couldn't wait to get on the floor here at Summer League. There's your guy.
Yeah. Dwayne Notice, native of Toronto, played for Frank Martin at the South Carolina, was a member of that team that went to the Final Four for the Gamecocks. Averaged a little over 10 points per game playing for Frank. And if you play for Frank Martin, you're tough, as Wigginton went airborne again. And he's getting up slowly. Tell you what, when you take off like that, you got to make sure that you got clearance for landing. Boy, that's a lot of contact.
Wow.
He was engulfed by two defenders here. Swallowed up.
How is that not a foul? Is it because he thought he was? I thought that was a foul.
Bowman on a nice pocket pass. There was contact. You weren't wanting or desiring any kind of coach's challenge there, were you?
No.
This is the second game tonight. Wigginton. Boy, that pass coming in a little bit too hot. A 4-on-2 and an offensive foul. Bad decision by Toscano.
Just great anticipation. How about the defensive play? Just watch. He's anticipating the comeback to the middle of the floor. I'll tell you what, nicely done.
And another body hitting the floor, Doris.
Yeah. Corey Walden taking it in the chest. Well, I'll tell you who can appreciate that. Kyle Lowry, by far the leader in charges taken in the NBA playoffs. And those were, he had some momentum-changing charges taken.
Yes, he did. Tell you what, he came out in Game 6 of the closing game and really made a statement offensively.
Yeah, he did.
Boy, Wigginton was open on the backdoor cut. Hernandez couldn't find him, and here come the Warriors the other way. Poole. Butter. Jordan Poole. Out of the University of Michigan.
Love the smile on the way back up the floor.
Malcolm Miller, corner three, no good. Do you envision the Warriors actually playing the same way next year with some of the different pieces they have?
Well, just go back to what I said about D'Angelo Russell, right?
Right.
You know, but I'll say this to you. You know, it was interesting to start the year last year. Steve Kerr, we were talking about he had wanted to maybe switch things up, and they, you know, sometimes toggled between allowing Kevin Durant a little opportunity to play in one-on-one circumstances. So certainly, I think the staff has the ability to adjust to their personnel. I'd be curious to see which way they go.
And Poole drills another three.
He's starting to feel pretty good.
Yeah. That jumper's real wet right now. Lead up to 18. Walden hesitates. Nice stick back underneath by Hernandez. Poole again, catch and shoot three. That one a little bit strong. Was looking for the foul call. I'm not sure Wigginton even touched him. Thomas with a great in and out dribble, and he drills a three. Golden State still leading by 13 points. Ball knocked out of bounds by Miller. Good defense. Time out on the floor. Poole catching fire when we come back. Head coach Nick Nurse still courtside here in Las Vegas. Golden State outscoring his Raptors 36-16 in the second half. Let's go to Cassidy for more.
Yeah, Mark, Nick just met with reporters just a short time ago, and, you know, he was asked, was there anything more they could have done to change Kawhi's mind? And he simply said no. And he said, you can't blame a guy for wanting to go home. And he said that's what Kawhi actually texted him today, as he told me earlier. He texted him, I'm going home. And he said, I just said to Kawhi, you've changed a lot of lives by what you've accomplished in Toronto, mine especially. And he said he just thanked them for what he did and told him he appreciated for the impact he had on his life, guys.
Yeah, great situation when parties can be divorced of each other like that and be amicable in their parting. You know, I haven't seen anything, you know, I have friends and relatives up in Toronto, up in Canada, and I haven't seen any jersey burnings or anything close to that. It's been mostly displays and expressions of affection for Kawhi Leonard.
Because the Canadians are too nice.
I don't know about that.
Steve Kerr was talking about it's the NBA Finals, and the Warriors are leaving their hotel. And he said, you know, there's a bunch of Raptors fans, and they're trying to trash talk, and they're like, yeah, we're going to beat you tonight.
Real nasty stuff, huh?
And we do a piece on SportsCenter about, you know, we want to get you to trash talk, and not a single Canadian would trash talk, except Mark Jones.
They
I know you'd be pretty good at it.
Well, I have an American passport now, so. Corner three good by Evans, who's really shot the ball well here. Golden State leading by 16 points. Evans has 22. Lloyd a little bit strong, and Evans back the other way. Poole kept his dribble alive and then fouled. Speaking of trash talk.
Well, Lloyd and Poole, that's a little extended conversation, speaking of trash talk.
Yeah, Poole just turned 20 the day before the NBA draft. Selected 28th by the Golden State Warriors. 311 of his 544 career field goals at Michigan were threes. So about 60% of his shots came from beyond the arc. Lloyd with a nice crossover. Lloyd cuts it back out to Boucher. Well, it had to happen.
That was the best rotation on the ball that we have seen, though.
Yeah. And assistant coach for the Raptors, Adrian Griffin, applauding courtside here. after that one fell. Under 4 minutes to go. The Raptors with a big climb ahead. Smailagic fouled.
We've seen Boucher from range have some funky trajectory on the shot. Just watch the rotation of the ball. At least a little more direct,
right.
Not the side spin we had been seeing.
Right. Boucher, a native of Montreal. You ever been to Montreal? Great jazz festival.
First of all, my daughter is there right now.
Okay.
And loving life.
Okay.
Eating at a very famous restaurant there, Joe's.
Joe's. There's Joe's and there's a Dunn's there, which is very popular.
She's a little bit of a foodie, and she's eating at a very famous Montreal restaurant this evening.
You tell her to call me. I can hook it up for her. I got friends up there still.
She's been doing work. Liver pate, poutine, you name it.
Okay. Up in La Belle Provence, as they call it, huh? Thomas with the mid-range. And that's another great thing about the Raptors. You go to their post-game media sessions.
Yeah.
You hear Pascal Siakam spitting some French.
Absolutely.
Speaking French to French-Canadian media. That's going to be a foul against Boucher. French, the official second language of Canada. Here's where. Great
nice
cut
pass.
and pass by Evans.
Smailagic.
Warriors basketball.
I've been letting you do the heavy lifting on that name.
I'm going to throw one of those syllables your way before it's over. You can take the fifth syllable.
I had to hear you say it about 25 times before I gave it a whirl.
Under 3 minutes to go. And as we look courtside and see Fred VanVleet, we saw him, one of the Raptors. He was a guy 3 years ago, undrafted, bet on himself, came to Summer League, earned a contract. The rest is history. Made the big shots in the final.
It's year 15 and everybody's still competing hard. They're getting their hustle on. How about the bodies we have seen hit the floor in this game? Two really hard played games. Guys competing, getting after it, trying to let the NBA know I can play. That ends up being a foul call. But how about this? Mr. Walden steps in, takes a charge. Two highly competitive, hard played, incredible games here, Mark.
And Jordan Poole at the foul line for the Warriors. I think I see Ron Adams courtside, assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors. Runs a lot of their defense.
The professor.
Yes.
You want a defensive lesson, talk to Mr. Adams.
(76-61), and actually the Golden State Warriors, a little bit of a coaching change. Willie Green, a longtime assistant coach, now a member of the Phoenix Suns coaching staff, coaching with Monty Williams, and those two guys go back a while as teammates. Always talked about working with each other, so the opportunity came up, and change often stimulates growth. So Willie Green getting a great opportunity to move.
He was the Golden State Summer League coach last year.
Yes.
And if you talk to Steve Kerr about Willie Green, he just raves about him. So congrats to Coach Green. Good luck with Monty.
Yeah, how great is it to see Monty Williams as a head coach again? You're not going to find a more quality guy on the sidelines or throughout the league than Monty Williams. 2 minutes to go. 12-point lead for the Golden State Warriors. Looking for their first win of Summer League here. Smailagic, not smiling on that one, had bad intentions going to the bucket.
Got Boucher on his hip, and Boucher didn't have the strength to impede him.
Boucher, a very lithe build. Well, Summer League action continues tomorrow in Las Vegas on ESPN, ESPN2, and the ESPN app. On ESPN2, San Antonio, Charlotte, Minnesota, Atlanta, Memphis Clippers. Then tomorrow on ESPN, it's Chicago against Cleveland, followed by the New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns. We get a chance to see the new Phoenix Suns, Monty Williams, their new head coach. in attendance here, not coaching the Summer League edition. But I'm looking forward to seeing Kevin Knox and see what he gets done along with R.J. Barrett. See if Barrett bounces back from his struggles.
Sure. What did he finish? 4 for 18, I think?
Something like that, yeah. And Smilagich hits the deck. Boucher punching it home on the break. Lead is down to 11. Daunting task ahead. Got to get some stops. Ware gives it back. Thomas now aggressive defensively, crowding Evans into the backcourt and forcing the turnover. Some tenacious defense by Thomas. Call out the play. Lloyd with the drive. Finds an open Thomas. Great ball fake. Putting Cash on the mid-range right to Boucher. And the putback good. The lead down to 9. Full court pressure by the Raptors. And a foul as Weir tried to get it up court. A couple players wide for sound, including Jordan Poole.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Jay. Yeah, Juan. Yeah, Juan. Good job, Solo. Let's stay with it, baby. Attack. Go. By yourself, C. By yourself, C. Good job, Jay. Hey, that's big time. Hey, that's really high level, Juwan.
Young fella bumping his gums a little bit. He's not shy. Hey. Nothing wrong with some communication out there.
There's a difference between...
And helping your friends too, your teammates.
I like it. Is there a difference between chopping it up and bumping your gums?
No, you chop it up, you just kind of sit back and, just chop it up. You speak, you hang out.
Bumping your gums
that's a little different. That was kind of exhorting your teammates and... sometimes it takes on different contexts, though. It can be
trash talk.
It can be fight talk too.
Yeah.
It can lead to something.
Bumping your gums.
Yep. But be careful how you bump your gums sometimes.
Sure.
Miller knocks down the second.
What time is it Eastern?
Oh, it's well after 1:44. Back after this. Sunday on ESPN and ESPN2, NBA Summer League rolls on. 5 more runs. 3:30 Eastern. It all starts 12:30 Pacific. Spurs Hornets wrap it up with the nightcap at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas with the Grizzlies and the Clippers. Like I said, I want to see that Knicks-Suns game.
Well, the Knicks playing their second-year guys.
Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, Alonzo Trier.
They were the pre-Summer League favorites to win 8-1 at Caesars here in Las Vegas. And dropped that truncated game, shortened game because of the earthquake last night. Good double team by the Raptors. Ware finds Poole, the open man. Hey, 40 seconds to go. The Raptors still alive. Down by 7. Quick find inside. Smilagich with a rebound. And that should do it. It's going to be real difficult for the Raptors now. And
good job, good job to secure the board and then stay spaced once they crossed half court.
Poole back at the line. Jordan Poole is going to go to the line 3 for 4 from the stripe. 19 points on 7 of 16 shooting.
He had a good night, Mark.
Yes.
And I think John Beeline's description was accurate. He's a confident young man.
He's 20 years old.
He's not afraid to bump his gums.
No. As a rookie, though, you got to be careful who you bump your gums at, though.
That's true.
You might end up with a fat lip after you bump your gum.
Ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. Let's do it. Can't stop me now.
Because of all the donations, mine is one of the lives that's been saved.
We are making progress. You can be a difference maker.
We need your help. We need money for research.
Donating would help get better treatments.
And welcome back, everyone, to Las Vegas.
I'm most proud of this company and the work they do at the V Foundation. Most proud. The lives saved. Dick Vitale's extraordinary broadcasting career will pale only in comparison to the work he has done to fight cancer and his new passion, pediatric cancer. Please donate to the V Foundation.
Yep. Well said. And this one is cooked, glazed, and sliced as the Warriors win it 80-71. Jordan Poole, the rookie, with a big night in victory for the Raptors. Pardon me, for the Warriors. They win it 80-71. Summer League action continues tomorrow at 3:30 on ESPN2. Coming up next, folks, it's Sports Center. For Doris Burke and Cassidy Hubbard, I'm Mark Jones. No more chopping it up. So long from Las Vegas.